Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV on this bright evening over here in Circuit Monza, and it's late afternoon this afternoon, and the weather's looking great out there. Oh, no, I should introduce Adrian. Hi Adrian.
Hey Bernie, hi viewers. Yeah, it's looking nice with the new update there now, Bernie. Evening, and also take a look at those GT3 cars. There's actually a numbered displays just like the Corvette C7, so we actually can tell now with the GT3 cars what position they're on. They're actually displayed in the front windscreen there.
Yeah, so that's going to give us the outright position, isn't it? But probably not position in class. So, but we'll be able to definitely see that, and it's a great addition. All the GT3s have that update, and I think they all also have flashing headlights, which was much anticipated, wasn't it?
Yes, it's quite a cool little feature there. Quite a few cars got that, so good to see. Obviously, most of the road cars got it. Poor old NASCARs didn't get it, but they're only sticker lights, so they would never get them.
No, that's right, and the V8 supercars don't have them. I think that's what you just said. I was just admiring the view here from the grandstand. We can see it's going on dusk here today, but of course it's not going to go too dark. That will probably come in the future, hopefully. But let's have a look at our weather, and at the moment it is pretty clear out there, but it's pretty hot as well. 43 degrees Celsius is a track temp. It's a scorcher out there tonight, and the air temp is 28 degrees Celsius with a wind speed of 11 kilometres an hour. So it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers handle that heat. I guess they're used to it though, aren't they?
Yeah, so it seems that way, and once again, I suppose it's just the way that everything works, and something that will be worked on eventually, I suppose, Bernie, especially in the afternoon. I don't think you would ever see a track temperature at 40 odd degrees in a late afternoon, that's for sure.
No, that's exactly right. It's something that no doubt they'll look at, but we're also tonight, for the first time, we're running DX11 graphic engine, and one thing I did notice with this update, Adrian, was with DX11 running, it seems to be a lot better for frame rates. Well, it is for me anyway.
Yeah, Bernie, I've noticed that as well. I've actually been able to get my cap up a little bit higher, so that means I get a little bit more frame rate usage, which is a little bit better, and yeah, it's definitely looking at a load better, and I'm actually turning a lot more stuff on as well.
Yeah, and so that's a really good addition. But let's get down to it, folks, and have a look at this point score. They've got 10 minutes to go in qualifying. They're running a little bit late, which is probably good because we're running a little bit late. But looking at the DP class at the moment, Josh Burden is leading the way for GT Amiga Racing. He's sitting on 46 points, but he's actually equal first with Zachary Hanlon from TD Racing on 46 points. And then Simon Feigl for Evolution Racing Australia on 36 points. Then Matthew Zimmerman in fourth position for LMTI on 29 points, followed in fifth by Josh Rogers on 26 points, and he's driving for TTL. Down there in sixth is Neil de Bruin, LMTI again, 26 points, so he's equal fifth. Marcelo Rivera, Evolution Racing Australia on 24 points, is in seventh. Then in eighth is Shane Reynolds for Waftam Motorsports on 23 points, and rounding out our top nine is Aaron Farmer for Nutters Motorsport DP, and he's on 22 points. So it's looking pretty close in DP at the moment there, Adrian.
Yeah, certainly is, Benny, and it with I think it's 2 more rounds to go after this one, so it's getting down to the business end, and the guys are going to have to try and make sure they stick in there and finish these races with a hefty amount of points to try and beat the other competitors.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's every point counts, doesn't it? And having a look at our top 5 in qualifying before we go on to the GT1 point score, Justin Strickland is leading provisional pole at the moment, and his fastest lap was a 1:40.39, but it looks like my telemetry is playing up here, because it says all the drivers have done 140.39. So that's probably a bit of a glitch with the update. Aaron Farmer is sitting in second for Class A at this stage, and then third is Phil Gadd, and he's in a beautifully turned out orange and black car. I'm not sure what he's got on it, but it definitely stands out.
You haven't seen that one yet, Bernie?
Okay, let's take a look at GT1 point score. Michael Hammond, he ran away with it last race, and he's looking very competitive out there again tonight for Laser Racing on 31 points, followed by Anthony Mansorella, Evolution Racing Australia on 29 points. Then Anthony Winkleman, Trick Customs Racing in third, and he's on 20, equal with Dylan Shepherd from One Performance Racing GT9 on 20 points each. In fifth is Craig Hopkins, Rick Higby Motorsports, equal 18 points in fifth with Lance Hawes KRF Motorsports, and then seventh is Scott Tamlin, Element Motorsports on 10, and rounding out our top 8 in GT1 is Michael Healy on 9 points. So I guess, Adrian, if you were Anthony Mansorella and you're going up against Michael Hammond here, what sort of gameplay do you think you'd be trying to, or what sort of strategy, we should say, would you try to use?
Question, Bernie. It's one of those things. With only 2 rounds to go, you've got to try and make sure that you can keep yourself in the game and going around for those last 2 points. Because obviously, I think they have a round as well in this series, Bernie. So you drop your worst round. So trying to gain those points, it's all about points and trying to beat the other guy to the line. That's really the best way you can do it. This strategy-wise, I don't think there's a lot you can do. Just keep the car on track, and hopefully the other guy doesn't, has a little bit of an issue. And that's about it, I think. Especially with Michael Hammond, he's just a brilliant driver, and it's not very often that we see him come adrift while he's racing.
Yeah, well, I'm just having a look at our driver lineup at the moment, and Anthony Mansorella and Anthony Winkleman both are not here tonight. So that's going to mean big points, potential gains here for Dylan Shepherd, because we know Dylan's pretty quick, and he may end up sitting second or possibly third or first in the point score at the end of tonight.
Well, that's right. He's once again, Dylan's a great driver as well, and he's come on strong here, hasn't he? He's been racing pretty well, and Michael has got some competition there now. So, no, it should be good. Good to see this competition. It's great to have these guys. But obviously, we can see here once again the Aston Martin is the car to beat at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. And Michael Hammond at the moment, he's qualified in 5th outright. Yes, he is 5th outright so far, and we know he likes taking that car, that GT1 of his, up against those DPs, and he really likes beating them. So again, keep an eye on him tonight as he continues his campaign of harassing DPs. Okay, let's have a look at GT3. Now, GT3 is broken into 2 classes. We have the Pro classes, which are drivers with an IR rating, I think it's over 2,500, and the AM or amateur class, they're scored separately, and they're for if you've never had an I rating over 2,500. So in the Pro class, Adam Funslow is leading for ILEC Motorsports. He's in a McLaren on 34 points, followed by Richard Brookfield from IRFF, and that's the Next Level Racing entry or sponsor there, on 30 points in second. Third, Scott Stevens for FSR GT Omega Racing on 29 points. And then fourth is Daniel Benefield, which I'm not sure, I don't think Daniel's here tonight, for Avid Chronic Racing on 11 points. Looking at the amateur class, the BMW Z4 is leading the way in amateur with Scott Goodman, KRF Aloha Motorsports on 20 points. Trent Thomas, GNT Racing, he's on 19. He's a very strong runner, and it looks like it's because he's missed a round. That's why he's on 19, but he'll have a drop round. Third is Alexander Sheridan for Blackadder Motorsport on 16 points, and then finally in fourth is Jeffrey Price, Tassie Badger Motorsports on 14 points. So again, it's very close in the GT3s at the moment.
Yeah, certainly is, and it's great to see, and it's a great group of guys. Definitely a lot of talent out there, and you know, it's once again fantastic just to watch these cars around here. Decent multi-class racing, that's for sure.
Yeah, it certainly is, and while we were in the off-season, so to speak, we had a week break. I've managed to introduce a new thing for all RRTV broadcasts, and that is telemetry from inside the car. So now you'll be able to see exactly what gear the drivers are taking, their kilometres per hour speed, as well as their revs per minute. And I think that'll come in very handy for any iRacing drivers out there watching these broadcasts. You'll be able to see exactly what your favourite driver is, or the drivers we cover are doing around the track.
That's a very cool little new trick there, Bernie, and it should be good for the broadcast, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I hope to bring in new innovations as I work them out, but so far I think that'll be a good one. So, a minute 38 to go. Let's have a look at who's leading the way at the moment. So we've got Josh Rogers on provisional pole, followed by Marcelo Rivera, and then third is Zachary Hanlon in Class A. Looking down to Class B, Michael Hemmons leading the way. Then Grant Hines second, third Dylan Shepherd, and Craig Hopkins is fourth in Class B. Class C, Richard Brookfield, Adam Funslow, followed by Hayden Burns, Aaron Osborne, and then Tim Ballinger in fifth in class at the moment. I'll tell you what, we have a cracker field here tonight, 35 cars out there, and if they all make the grid, it's going to be a fantastic race here at Monza tonight, folks.
Yeah, the only one that hasn't put a lap down at the moment is our good friend Scott. Looks like he hasn't put a lap down. Now, I did see him practice early in a practice room, which I was running around with in a BMW, but it doesn't look like he's put a lap down here at the moment, Bernie, which is quite strange.
Yeah, that's right. He's down as not turning a lap, so he may not be running tonight. That's my guess, because you don't want to be buried down the back of the pack down there. I'm not sure what class Scott would be running if he was out there though, but we'll see. And as far as we know, folks, there's been no penalties issued at this stage. Looking at the usual rules, it's a 60-minute race with 3 classes. They get 1 fast repair, which, depending how things go, they may be using it after the first chicane. I think they have about a 27 points incident limit, but they don't get disqualified. What happens is they actually get points penalised or taken away from them in the championship. While we're finishing up our qualifying, I want to give a shout out to Alexander Sheridan. He's actually been recording in-car footage of these races, and he's putting them up on YouTube. So when this video goes up, I'll put a link below to his channel. It's great to watch. So we've just come to the end of qualifying, folks. So while that's happening, let's go through our grid. Okay, on pole position, Josh Rogers will be leading the way. 141.081, followed by Marcelo Rivera, will start in second. Third is Simon Feigl. Fourth, Zach Hanlon, followed by Josh Burden in fifth position. Sixth will be Justin Strickland, followed by Nino Natal. Nino will be looking at having a better run tonight, I'm sure. He had quite a bit of trouble there early on in the race at Spa last round. David Jellings will start out of 8th, followed by Aaron Farmer, and TJ Brown rounds out our 10. From 11th will be Matthew Zimmerman, followed by Blake Coppo in 12th. Neil de Bruyn will start out of 13th. 14th is Brenton O'Brien, and 15th is Gregory Colgan. And I'll tell you what, we have a strong field in Class A, 16 in total. Looking at Class B, Michael Hammond will start out as 16th and first in Class B. We've got Phil Gadd down there with the GT1s. The way they operate these races is wherever you qualify, that's where you start. So he'll be buried in with the GT1s, which will definitely test Phil's driving, I'm sure. Grant Hines will start out of 18th in an Aston Martin, followed by Dylan Shepherd in 19th. Now, keep an eye on Dylan. As I said earlier, he's got a lot to gain here today. Starting out of 20th will be Craig Hopkins. 21st and first in Class C, Richard Brookfield and Adam Funslow. These two guys had a fantastic battle at Spa, and no doubt they will be wanting to take that further here today. And I'm just trying to get our pictures. They'll come up very shortly. Adam Funslow will start 22nd, followed 23rd, Aaron Osborne in a BMW. 24th, Brad Fenley, a new name to the to me anyway, in Class B, down there in 24th. 25th, Hayden Burns in a McLaren. 26th, Tim Ballinger, BMW. 27th, Jeffrey Price in a McLaren. 28th, Trent Thomas. Keep an eye on Trent too. He's a fast runner and he'll be looking at trying to get as many points as he can tonight. Matt Wilkins will start out at 29th. Ben Twydale out of 30th. 31st, Alexander Sheridan, followed by Scott Goodman in 32nd. 33rd, Adam Hyland, and 34th, Jake Maloney. And then rounding out our field of 35 is Scott Stevens, but we are not sure if he's going to start. In fact, he has not entered at this stage, Adrian.
No, it doesn't look like that, so maybe he's decided he's not going to have a run, or he may have dropped out. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him himself drop out, so which is a bit weird.
Yeah, and speaking of weird, I'm just restarting our overlays because they generally give me a lot of grief if I don't restart them. I'm normally lost at sea for the first couple of laps.
I'll tell you which is a pretty cool feature now too, Bernie, is that at the moment I've got my camera pointed at one car, and anything around that car is focused quite well, but all the other cars get blurred out. So that's quite a cool little feature now with this iRacing and DirectX 11 that we now have.
And we've had looks like we have a car pulled over back here as well. Not sure, it was one of the Evolution Racing Australia DPs. As soon as they started moving, he pulled to the side of the road there, Adrian.
Yeah, I can actually see we've got two guys with penalties at the moment here now, Bernie. That's Adam Highland was given an end-of-line penalty, and Phil Gadd was also given one. So that's going to make it hard for Phil to try and get his way through the cars, because getting stuck behind those GT3 is going to be pretty hard.
Yeah, and that might have been because they didn't want them to get in the way of the GT1s, because those guys did qualify down there, so that's what I'm suspecting has happened. I wasn't ignoring you, Adrian, we're about to start, but my screen doesn't blur around those cars, unfortunately, so I'll have to check that setting. But here we come, folks, to start round 5 here at Monza. Justin Strickland will be leading the way. We're waiting for green. It's still waiting for green, and now we go, and we're underway. I tell you what, a lot of guys jumped the gun there, and here comes the GT1s flat out, and we have Michael Henneman, Dylan Shepherd, side by side coming into the chicane for the first time, and look at the GT3s behind them.
Yeah, we got a GT1 in there. Excuse a bit of smoke there, locking up brakes there in the GT1. Oh, someone gets turned. Oh, there's a bit of a mess there in the GT3s in the first chicane.
Yeah, there's one of the Selby cars is in big trouble going down the back here. I think that is Hayden Burns in the Selby entry there, and it looks like he's just used up one of his fast repairs if he can get that car back. But let's get up to the front here, folks. Zach Hanlon is in second at the moment. He's trying to chase down Josh Rogers in first, and then Marcelo Rivera for Evolution Racing Australia in third, followed by his teammate Simon Feigl fourth, and fifth is Josh Burden. So Zach Hanlon's had a good start out there tonight.
Yeah, it's been a crazy start, but having a few mixed cars in there, and obviously Monza, we know that getting into that first chicane is definitely a tricky one to get into.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I'll tell you what, you know, when I said earlier that Dylan was going to be interested in having a good run here, he's definitely having a good run. It looks like he's leading Class B, but the big news is Michael Hammond. It looks like Michael's in trouble here because the GT3s are going past him, so I think he's got some sort of steering or suspension damage, and he's on the outside. He's going to have to slow, or else he's not going to be able to get across. Oh, he just dives across in front of the GT3s to make the pits.
I might go and see what happened there, Bernie, and I'll let you know, but it looks like he's got a lot of front end damage onto that car, so not good start for Michael tonight.
No, it certainly is not, and I'll try and see if I can get that replay here, folks. It looks like he was possibly, he might have got that in the first chicane, Adrian.
Oh, for the second one, he gets someone blocks up on inside of him there, coming into the second set of chicanes there, and pushes him into that area, and I would assume that's where he's got all that damage.
Just bear with me, folks. I'm trying to do the jump back here because I can only see off tracks, so I'm trying to bring you that replay if I can. Oh, that was the Corvette. The Corvette C6R was the one that ran into him under brakes there, and all that damage was actually when he was returning to the track going over those big bumps there, Adrian.
Yeah, those bumps are not friendly to any car, and once you hit them, you can get a lot of damage and it sort of unsettles the car. I think he hit one of those and it sort of put him into the wall as well, which didn't help him help his scores, and he's a very unlucky start there for Michael tonight, and he's got a bit of work to do.
Well, he's got a heck of a lot of work to do, but we know he likes a challenge and he'll be throwing down the gauntlet, but that's definitely going to work in Dylan Shepherd's favour. At the moment though, Josh Rogers, Zach Hanlon are battling it out up here for first and second. It looks like they have swapped positions and then swapped them back again. As Zach Hanlon, I tell you what, Zach just about lost that coming onto the back straight there, and that's allowed Marcelo Rivera for a run. And Marcelo's made that move, so that doesn't take a lot, does it? Just a bit of a wiggle in the back, and you're down a position here at Monza.
Yeah, that's it, especially with these cars, and I'm sorry a bit quiet there, Bernie. I was trying to look for the paint scheme, and unfortunately my Trading Paints hasn't brought up Zach's paint scheme, so I'm quite familiar with that paint scheme, so I got a little bit lost there for a moment.
Yeah, and I think I've got to the bottom of the big paint scheme dilemma, which I call it, which is when, you know, Trading Paints doesn't always download the skins, and what I've found is the more car files I have in the paints directory under that car, the more troublesome the downloads are. So what I did tonight was delete everything, and I've got all the correct paints, so you might want to try that.
Oh, thanks, Benny. That might be a good way to do it while I'm actually mucking around here, and we should see how I go with that.
Yeah, I think I'm onto something, but tell you what, the person that's onto something tonight in Class B is Dylan Shepherd. He's leading that class, and then looking at who's second at the moment. Grant Hines is running second in Class B. Then Craig Hopkins in the C6R. He was the one that under brakes had tagged Michael Hammond, which caused Michael's pit stop. So he's in third. Brad Fernley in the Vortex entries fourth. Looking at Class C, and boy, are they having a battle. Let's stay with this for a bit, because Richard Brookfield is leading that class, but Adam Funslow's right behind him, and here comes Aaron Osborne in the BMW, and he's looking strong. Tell you what, Adrian, the shadow effects in DX11 graphics engine look mighty weird, I must say. We're looking at Adam Funslow's car ahead of us, and it looks like he's got a big black donut all around his car.
Yeah, something that you pointed out to me earlier there, Bernie, and yeah, you're right. It's a weird looking situation, isn't it? So obviously the whole point of iRacing moving this system onto the option for us to try it is to see what sort of issues that we get, and you know, obviously if we have problems we can go back to DirectX 9 and let them know about the issues that we're having, and they can work on that. But this is like another alpha test for them to find out what's going on, and this will come up and they'll see that and they'll work on that sort of thing. I think it's more of a camera angle, isn't it, Bernie? For me it sort of happens in areas and different camera angles that I get.
Yeah, it's it might be the graphic settings as well, but I tell you what, I'm really happy with what they've done so far for DX11, because it's made things a heck of a lot smoother here for me. And we knew coming into it was pretty much a beta test, but I think they've done a good job so far.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bernie. They've done a fantastic job this time around to get everything out there, and it's looking fantastic. And even your frame rates are a lot better, so they've done a really good job. And they do have a few things that they're upgrading. I think it's tomorrow, Bernie, just to patch up a few little bits and pieces, but they're aware of it and going to drop in a new patch there as well, so that should be interesting to see. Obviously they're little bits and pieces of glitches that we don't get to see generally, and it could be one of those shadow things that we're seeing here today.
Yeah, it could be. It's pretty much cosmetic anyway, so even if it's not fixed we can live with it, that's for sure. But at the moment GT3 guys are having a great battle, and it's quite interesting with Aaron Osborne out here. He must get frustrated. You know, it's a usual story in the BMW. He can close up under brakes, but then under those long straights, even in the slipstream, he just cannot get past the McLarens.
Yeah, usual story. That still hasn't changed. The BMW is still slow in the straight line, and I think real world same deal. But realistically, give it to another track and it'll probably eat up those Maccas quite well. But don't forget, we're not 100% certain, but the Maccas were chewing up the tyres there last time around, so they could be still doing the same thing. And I know this BMW is looking after its tyres, so you know, let's see what happens for the last half hour, and after the pit stops, this BMW might be in for a win here.
Yeah, well, we know the McLarens do lose tyre grip, as you just said, and the BMWs tend to get stronger. One thing I did notice with the new build, though, maybe I was imagining it, but the BMW felt a little bit more nervous. under cornering than it used to, but maybe that's just my imagination. For the viewers out there, if you're wondering why you don't see any of the new cars, the Audi or the Mercedes, the drivers basically had a bit of a vote, and with I think it's 3 rounds to go, they decided to keep with the cars they started with, just so that it keeps the integrity of the competition, I guess. So that was good news. And Tim Ballinger at the moment, he's running out down here in 19th position, and I'm not used to seeing Tim in a BMW. Is this the first time we've seen him, or am I having an old man moment again?
No, he went down to the BMW there, Bernie, when the numbers were in that situation. He was in the GT1, but he's moved down to the BMW class and just having a bit of fun. But I can let you know, as Adam Funslow goes for the lead here, so a bit of a change there now, Bernie. So Adam's in the lead over Richard Brookfield, and Aaron's there behind him. A little bit of news for Tim too. He's actually crook. He's not 100%. He's got the flu, and talking to him earlier, and he does not sound well at all. So keeping it up there in 4th, he's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, and one thing I'm going to have a word with is our camera guys, because they've pretty much placed the camera, folks, right where the new LED number is. So I apologise for that lack of view. You're sort of getting a nice letterbox view, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I suppose that's something that I'll have to get changed at some point there, Bernie. Is poor old Aaron here, he's stuck behind Richard at the moment, and he's right up close here. And I'll tell you what, these Beamers are actually pretty good through the corners still. They've definitely got the grip in the corners, and you know, can hassle these Maccas. And I suppose that's probably going to be the key here for Aaron, is just to sit there and hassle Richard all the way through the corners, and just be that, you know, that eyesore there, and maybe even press the button there and flash your lights, and just to unsettle him a bit, because now that's an option as well, as my stupid birds are cracking up in here as well.
I was wondering what that noise was. Yeah, it's quite interesting. None of the drivers I've seen so far have flashed their headlights, and I thought this was going to be like Christmas, you know, with the headlights flashing everywhere, as now Richard Brookfield closes in under brakes, but he decides not to have a go there. And it's going to be interesting here, because Richard and Adam pretty much had that battle last round, didn't they, at Spa, where they were swapping positions for the whole race, actually.
Yeah, they were. So you know, Adam and Richard, they have been having great races, and they're actually teammates. It's just that Adam runs his own private livery to Richard. So, but Brenton O'Brien's just gone around there, Bernie. You might have to see if you can get that. But going through the last chicanes there, just turns around before the corner where you expect him to lose it. So unusual spot for him to lose that car there.
Yeah, we'll go back and have a look at this replay, folks. And, where are we? We're just coming down the back straight into the chicane here. Maybe I've missed it, but we'll soon find out.
No, you should be pretty close.
Yeah, he's lost it on entry, hasn't he? And look at that smoke. I tell you what, that smoke looks great. I like it, but yeah, I'm sure Brenton is not liking this at the moment. He hit the wall, started reversing back, and I tell you what, he was lucky he didn't get clouded by what, the number 15, I think it was, one of the XY gaming cars.
Oh, that'd be TJ.
Yeah, TJ Brown currently running in 11th outright at the moment and doing a great job. Looking at Class B, haven't shown you much of Class B, so let's have a look at this. Dylan Shepherd's leading the way. Craig Hopkins now is up to second. For the viewers that have joined us, if you're wondering where Michael Hammond is, he actually had a coming together with Craig Hopkins, and Michael is sitting down 25th at the moment with a lot of work to do. He's still on the same lap though, so that's one thing. And then, oh, we just had a crash. Oh, it's nasty too. I'll tell you what, there was Nino Natal there, and trying to get past these cars, and he's collected Richard Brookfield here.
I'm glad we were on the same page then, Bernie. I think we were watching the same thing at the same time, which is, gee, that wasn't tidy, was it? Especially out of one of those cars. He had that straightaway coming up. He could have waited after the Lesmos there and used that straightaway to get past those GT3 cars a lot cleaner than that. That was just a little bit untidy in my eyes there.
Yeah, well, I think it was quite a bit untidy. He's made the move on Aaron. Aaron's seen it and he's let him through, but Richard has tried to keep to his line, which he's entitled to do. He's in a race here, and Nino's just run into the side of him, run out of brakes pretty much. But then Aaron finishes Nino off by running up the rear of him. So that was a bit clumsy.
Yeah, once again, he had nowhere to go in that situation, and what do you do? It's not very easy to pull these things up and get out the road. So, it was a clumsy event there, and trying to push a task that I don't think was going to help you in any way, shape or form. Like I said, Bernie, you got that nice bit of straightaway there. You would have outdone those GT3s in a flash going down that straightaway.
Yeah, well, that's right. I guess it'd be a different story if you were racing someone for position, and then you'd probably risk that sort of move. But it was 42 minutes to go, and by yourself, it was a high-risk manoeuvre, and hoping that Richard would actually take the wide line, which he didn't. So I don't know. The racing stewards will no doubt look at that and make a decision, but I tell you what, Zach Hanlon here in third in Class A is in a bit of trouble. He's got a lot of damage to the front left of that DP, and there's also a GT1 in the background in the kibble, kitty litter, and so Zach's in a bit of trouble here, I think.
Yeah, that'd be affecting the downforce. I think we saw it in the last build, didn't we? Any sort of damage you get on the cars now, you lose that aero, and it actually affects your top end speed. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's losing a little bit there, as I can see him topping about 274 going down the back straight, and might quickly jump into Roger's car and just see what he's doing down the front straight away, as he's behind a GT3 car at the moment.
He's made that move, and the GT3 car's got out of his way. And while you're doing that, I'm going to bring up our telemetry, because that's going to pretty much tell us his top end speed here. Then we'll jump back to Zach.
Notice he's got a bit of damage on the front of his car as well, Bernie, so a little bit of damage on those cars, both of them, and I think that was about 282, wasn't it?
Yeah, he topped out at 282. Looking at Zach Hanlon now, Zach's actually topped out at 282 as well, so maybe he's not suffering so much on the top speed. Maybe it's a handling thing, because the car does look a bit nervous as he enters those corners.
Yeah, he did lock up bad, didn't he? So it's definitely not a straight line speed, but you could be right, it could be more handling, and just trying to see if I can find one of these C7s without some damage, because if these guys run over these bollards and that, they tend to pick up the damage quite easily, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. Matthew Zimmerman in the number 7 doesn't look like he's got any damage. Oh no, the guy behind him, his teammate Neil de Bruin.
Which teammate? There's two of them here.
Yeah, the number 7. I think it's a number 7. He might have some damage now, or it could be Greg Colgan. There's actually 3 LMTIs running nose to tail here at the moment, and I tell you what, you wouldn't want them to tangle, would you?
No, not at all.
Looking at Richard Brookfield at the moment, he's lost quite a bit of time here from that spin. He's dropped probably about 5 seconds from our Class B leader, and that is Adam Funslow. He's leading 3 seconds up the road now from Aaron Osborne. So you can see just by that battling with Richard Brookfield how much slower Adam was, but now that he's been freed, so to speak, he's pulled a nice gap there.
Yeah, and also that accident they had, we got him as well, Bernie's definitely helped Adam move ahead. I mean, not taken away from Adam at all. He's definitely a quick driver, but obviously that would have helped as well.
We're going to jump on board now with Michael Hammond. He's 18th now at the moment, and it's going to be an exciting ride, so crank it up, folks, and enjoy the ride around Monza. Tell you what, Adrian, watching him on that wheel, I tell you what, he's swinging that wheel, isn't he?
Yeah, it certainly is, and geez, I'm just back here with Aaron as well, just checking out on his progress. He's doing alright at the moment. What's he, about 2 seconds behind Brenton now, so he's about 5 seconds behind Adam, so he's doing a good job there.
Oh, he's definitely doing a good job. I just think as far as top end speed, that's where he's struggling, but the car's looking clean and he's looking for a good podium position here with 36 minutes to go. And in the background you can just see the Aston Martin of Michael Hammond starting to approach here.
As Aaron's going in now, so I think even his teammate Tim Ballinger has been in, done his fuel stop as well, so we'll see how this works out for Aaron back in the C class, because don't forget, I don't think these guys will be taking tyres because it takes too long. Yeah,
well, you know, they're pretty much down to what, one tyre changer or something or other, and they've got to do it after the fuel, so yeah, definitely won't. Looking at the, gee, that was a quick pit stop. He did that in 16.5 seconds.
Yeah, and Tim Ballinger did it in 13.8 at the moment. The GT3 cars, I think Trent's also had a stop there as well. Bernie at a 14.7. Brenton, I'm not sure if that's actually a stop. I think it would be for 17 seconds. So Brenton's also done a stop as well after his little spin.
Yeah, so an update on the people that have pitted so far, folks. Simon Feigl down in 12th position. He has had his pit stop, 33.4 seconds, so no doubt he's throwing tyres onto that car. Brenton O'Brien, as Adrian was just saying, in 14th, 17-second stop, and he didn't use a fast repair, so he's now being mobbed by Adam Funslow. Oh, Adam's trying to get past. This is a turn for the books. A McLaren monstering a DP. Looking, Michael Hammond, he has had his stop as well, 16.8, but it'll be questionable whether he can actually get that car home because he had a stop very early on. Craig Hopkins at the moment is in the pits taking his service as we speak. Grant Hines down in 20th has done his stop, 26.2 seconds. Aaron Osborne, as we said, 16.5. Scott Goodman down in 26th position has had his stop in the KRF BMW, 17.4 seconds, and Nino Natal had a very lengthy stop to get that car repaired, and he's still carrying rear end damage on that car. Looking at our retirements at the moment, and the list is fairly long, we have lost Ben Twydale, Jake Maloney, Brad Fenley, David Jellings, Hayden Burns, Aaron Farmer and Phil Gadd have all retired tonight.
Yeah, definitely a few retirements tonight, but still quite a big field, and 7 drivers still out there, so still a big field. And this series is quite a good one with that, and look, I don't know where Matt's going to go with this. I think the car selection here is great. I'm not sure if he wants to change it around a little bit. I'm not sure, but it's a great little series, isn't it? It's fantastic. Oh geez, that was close then. I was just watching Blake Coppo. He just gets the Corvette through there. He nearly had it chopped off by, I think it was Dylan Shepherd, so quite a close call there.
And Justin Strickland now, he's just going past the number 63 of Richard Brookfield, and he made a clean pass, so that's good. Justin at the moment, he's sitting in 3rd position. It says 4th on the telemetry, but he's actually in 3rd at this stage, so he's having a pretty good run.
Yeah, banging it out there, isn't he? So having a good drive. It looks like he's got the Carter paint scheme on there, which is looking pretty sweet, and they're doing a good job on that. And just I like how these paint jobs actually bling on this new DXX11 too, Bernie. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, they look so sweet, don't they? Especially in this twilight, it really changes the appearance of these cars. And when you look at the rich yellows of Marcelo Rivera's car, it looks fantastic in this lighting.
Oh yeah, it certainly does. And you have a look at the TD Racing paints as well. That blue, how it changes as it goes through as well. The highlighted blue, that's quite a nice little effect there on that car. As I've actually back here with Zach, and he's actually used the flash button to let them know that he's coming. So there you go. Someone is actually using it.
Yeah, well, we'll stay with him because I want to actually see this flash in action. It's so funny, isn't it, how we get excited by flashing headlights, but there he goes. There's a lot of people, they've been waiting for it for a long time, haven't they? I think the other one people wanted was a horn, but I don't think racing cars have horns, do they?
Yeah, not that I know of any. I'm sure the V8 supercars decide that's probably about 500, not even that, probably 20 grams too much, as he pits so as well. So coming in and get his pit stop done, but at least he's using it. It's there to let them know that he's coming up and saying, hey look, I'm a fast car, just get prepared, I'm going to try and overtake you. But it's cool, it's good initiative, and that's what it's cool to see, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, and that's exactly what the real world has, and that's what they use them for, and that's what Zach's used it. I'm surprised other people haven't tonight, but I guess it takes a little bit of time to get used to having flashing headlights. Just keeping an eye on Zach's stop. He's used his fast repair, so that's going to really help him, and he's looking really strong here tonight. 17.3 seconds was his stop, and he comes out in 3rd position, but here comes Marcelo Rivera, who's going to take it away from him.
Yeah, no, they're doing a great job there, and drop back down into 4th again. I think we've still got Justin to pit, so he's got that as he locks it up going into the first turn there. And cold tyres, Benny, you've got to be real careful with these cars on cold tyres, because I think it's just the tyre warmers just do the top of the tread, so not the rims or anything. So if the rims are still cold, those tyres aren't going to be that warm anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And that was one thing iRacing fixed in this release, was in the past the whole tyre was tyre warmed, where they've now fixed it, and as Adrian said, or as you said, Adrian, I shouldn't talk about you in the third person, it's now just heating the part it's meant to be heating, which is the outside, I guess.
Yes, and Adrian was right, wasn't he? He's pretty well spot on for a change. Generally, he's pretty crap at that, but no, you're right there, Bernie. Yeah, it's good. They keep fixing on this, and that's what makes iRacing brilliant. They're not sitting down and doing nothing, are they? They're being proactive and trying to get this stuff working. Still with Zach and flashing those lights and let them know that he's coming. So and also I suppose the whole thing with the flashing lights too, Bernie, is getting a button set up for it. Seeing if you've got a position, and the best place to put it is on the steering wheel, isn't it? So you don't have to worry about trying to look at where your buttons are.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. I was actually thinking of using a voice command, but if you did that, I know what the voice command would be, and we can't say that on air. But Michael Hammond, I tell you what, he's up to 12th position now. He's wasting absolutely no time in trying to get this car up into the points. I'm just wanting to see. He may have actually... Who's leading this? I think Michael might actually be leading Class B again.
I think you're right there, Bernie. Only got the lead again in Class B, but like you said, there's definitely a big question mark on does he have to come in, and I'm pretty certain he will. I can't see him being out there the whole race again. With the times that he's been doing, he'll have to pit just to top up and throw a bit of fuel in it to make it to the end.
Yeah, and I think that's why he's pushing this car so hard, isn't it? As he's going to answer it, he's coming in the pits now, so good call there.
Yeah, let's hope he sort of put some sort of fuel in there, so he may only have to put a little bit in there. So this shouldn't be too long of a stop, I don't think. Maybe a 10-second stop, maybe 10 or 12-second stop.
Yeah, he's up on the jacks now. What's he doing? Changing tyres on the car?
Yeah, I think you can do tyres and fuel at the same tyre on this thing.
Oh yeah, because the GT1, isn't it?
Yeah, he still did a regular stop there, Bernie, which is quite strange. I thought he might have at least attempted to throw some fuel in there in his last stop, but it all happened so fast, I suppose, sort of forget about doing that sort of thing. So you can get a little bit hard sometimes, but that's where having a teammate or a spotter for you can actually help you in that sort of situation.
Yeah, that's right, because they can look at all the strategy, can't they, and then make a call on your behalf of what's the best thing to do.
Yeah, for sure, and I suppose that's probably the hardest thing too, isn't it? Seeing if you could get someone to help you out in strategy. I know some teams actually sit there and they actually work these things out on their own. They have, I think there's a few guys that use Fuel Buddy, help them work out their fuel load, and you can get yourself set up in your little black box there and get everything set before you go out there and actually start racing, so that when you come in you can have that all selected. You just come in, do your stop and go. But in a situation where you need to change your strategy a little bit to compensate a little bit of an accident or something, that's when you really need someone on your side to help you quickly change those settings.
Yeah, because it's really hard when you're in the thick of things to be, fiddling with the mouse or trying to configure the car for that pit stop. And it's actually, I think it's fantastic if you're lucky enough to have a mate out there that's doing spotting or managing you as you drive, because that really makes it more realistic.
Oh yeah, for sure. the problem is like anything, I suppose, Bernie. You know, you and I both love coming up here and chatting about the racing and what's going on in front of us. We always enjoy it, and that's our thing. And geez, that real dot looks bad, doesn't it? But yeah, you know, we do this as something fun, and that's our little thing that we do. But I'm sure there is one or two guys out there that like doing the strategy, because I know it's another part of this sport of ours is a bit of strategy, and even in an hour race you've got to have some sort of strategy or sleeve up there that you can change or swap around. So definitely a situation where some guys should look at and try and help out with their teammates.
Yeah, and the other thing, the other big advantage that can help these drivers is you have a strategy coming into the race, but often you need an alternate strategy when things go belly up, and that's where a teammate or a manager or whatever you want to call them comes into their own. The other thing that helps as well is when you're seeing red as a driver out there, if you've got someone who can actually speak to you on the radio, and a lot of guys use TeamSpeak, they can actually try and calm the guys down and get them to focus back on the big picture.
Yeah, exactly right. And you know that little donut that we've seen on the Corvette C7s, I actually seen it on the McLarens as well there, Bernie, so that might be something that you can have a look at as well while you're watching, but it looks like it's on the McLarens as well.
Yeah, I'd say that's just a graphical thing, but as you said, it does come and go depending on where it is on the track, to how that shadow's rendered, because now on the McLaren it looks okay.
I'm just wondering if it's something to do, like if you're selecting, like at the moment, I'm on Adam at the moment, just to see what was going on there, and his car looks okay. Like I'm focused on his car, there's no issues, the shadows are looking great, they're moving around like they should. But when I was on Michael Hammond's car, I could see this nice big black spot on his underneath the McLaren. So I wonder if it's just whatever car you're focusing on. The other cars aren't, like it might be just a small technical glitch they've got on.
Yeah, it could be. We'll just jump to Josh Burden. Yeah, you're right. As soon as you select that car, the shadow's okay. But as soon as we go back and select, let's say, Michael Hammond, the big black donut comes back.
Well, there you go. So it's just a little thing that is happening from depending on what car you're in. So a little bit interesting there. Hopefully iRacing sees that. I'm sure they will. I mean, there's plenty of people covering iRacing, and we know there's a couple out there that do it and have got a bigger coverage than what we do, but we do it for the fun of it, and we just noticed something tonight. Obviously we haven't been on for a week either as well, Bernie, so first time back in a week, so some of the new things that we've got, and just playing around with it at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a new toy. But anyway, there's a race going on out there, believe it or not, folks. So let's update the classes with 21 minutes to go. Josh Rogers is leading Class A. He's got a gap of, let's bring that up now for you, 5.8 seconds. Marcelo Rivera is in second position as he launches it across the ripple strips up on two wheels there. And the good reason he's doing that is because Zach Hanlon now is in third and catching him. Now he's got a fresh car. He's out for blood, one could say, in Class A. So that's your top three, Class A. Looking down to Class B. We have Dylan Shepherd for TTR leading the way in the Aston Martin, followed by Michael Hammond in second, and Michael's in a bit of traffic here. He's got DPs in front, DPs behind him. He's got his hands full tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has, and I think there's another car in between him there, Bernie. Grant Hines isn't using a number that we're familiar with, so he's throwing it throwing a curveball at us there. So car number 18 is actually in second position in Class B.
Yeah, you're right. So Grant Hines second, Michael Hammond third, and we haven't seen much of Grant, but he's doing a fantastic job out there tonight, and he's just one of those guys tonight, isn't he, that's just slipping under the radar. I'll tell you what, that speedcafe.com livery looks fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly does. These guys out there that do these paints do a fantastic job, don't they? They put a lot of work in it, and it's not an easy task. I mean, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. You have Photoshop, which I think is a little bit easier. I've got GIMP here at home that I use, and you know, I don't use it often enough to be as professional as that. I just pot around now and again when I feel like it, and man, I'll tell you what, some of the guys there are just unbelievable. They're skilled at, and that's where it is beauty of this, isn't it, Bernie? Guys are just skilled in other different areas for this sort of stuff.
Oh, that's right. And you know, we've seen a lot of nice cars out there, and hours go into preparing these, but you know, the good news is they come in mangled, and they press a button and it's all pretty again. But looking at Class C, folks, Adam Funslow is leading Class C at the moment. He's got quite a big lead built up here. I'm just having a look at who is second in Class C, and that would be, I think it's Jeffrey Price in the VIP pet foods entry, and that's another nicely turned out McLaren.
Yeah, both of those drivers haven't did yet either, Bernie. So these guys are running this first in very long into the race. You know, it's not going to matter how long you run for in this series, because you know how much fuel you're going to need to put in, because you've only got an X amount to start with, so you've got to put in a certain amount to make the end. The only difference is Bernie is a left foot braker and a right foot braker. A left foot braker will use more than a right foot braker.
Yeah, because they tend to drag the brake a little bit. I think that's what causes them to use more fuel.
Yeah, they just drag the brake through the corners, and they also have their foot on the accelerator as well, so they sort of gain a little bit more time through a corner, and that's where they use a bit more fuel as well, so their throttle percentage is a little bit more than a right foot braker.
Very interesting. And I'm a left foot braker, so I'm taking notes here. Should I go back to right foot braking? Probably couldn't, even if I wanted to. But Adam Funslow's just done his pit stop, 16.2 seconds, so he's dropped down to second in Class C. Aaron Osborne is third, and he's also pitted. I'm just looking for a gap here. The gap is, it's not giving me a gap. It's 16 seconds up to Alexander Sheridan at the moment, so it's probably about 6 seconds up to Adam Funslow.
About 9, Bernie.
Oh, were you doing one Mississippi again? Having a look at our retirements update, folks. We've had another 2 retirements. Matthew Zimmerman has just retired from the race. Very unfortunate to see him go tonight. And Brenton O'Brien has also retired from this race tonight. So at the moment, we've had 8 retirements in a 1 hour endurance race. That's a pretty high dropout rate again tonight. Yeah,
I think at least 2 of those, Bernie, have been just for internet connections. So, you know, 2 of them at least, or maybe even Brenton there, Bernie. He looks like he's just reconnected as well. So a little bit of usage there, some technical difficulties there for some guys. So once, you know, that's just something that you can't help. So unfortunately, the guys have had a technical problem and had to bring the car in, and they're coming back to have a look to see how the race is going.
Okay, folks, we're going to jump on here, on board with Craig Hopkins in the Corvette C6R. So we're going to be quiet for a lap, so we can have a bit of a rest and crank up the sound and enjoy the sound of this Corvette. Tell you what, Adrian, I never get sick of hearing the growl of that car. It always sounds awesome.
Yeah, the Corvette sounds special, doesn't it? Always love listening to the sound of those V8s and rumbling through. So even with the new Corvette, it sounds great as well. So they do a fantastic job, don't they?
Well, they certainly do. And the Mercedes has a similar growl to it, which is nice, that big V8 under the hood there. But Craig is currently 16th outright, and just trying to work out where he is. Say he's running 4th in Class B at this stage. Grant Hines is 3rd and 14th outright at this stage. Michael Hammond is now, as he locks up a top brake there, is in 2nd, and he's trying to pull in Dylan Shepherd, and that gap to Dylan is 9.1 seconds at this stage. Looking at their lap times, the last lap Dylan did a slow 1:51, and Michael Hammond did a 1:45, so he's definitely trying to get that gap back. But what do you think, Adrian? 11 minutes, 9 seconds. Do you reckon he can do it?
There's one thing catching, the other thing is passing. With that many laps to go, yeah, I'm sure he could catch up. If that sort of laps are going to happen, I mean, that was 6 seconds. So obviously Dylan probably had a bit of traffic to deal with. So we'll see how he goes. Obviously, you know, anything's possible in racing. We know that's for sure.
Yeah, well, he would have just pulled in another probably half a second there, because Dylan had to go wide there into the final corner as the number 4 and number 8 DPs went past him on the inside there, pushed him a bit wide.
Yeah, well, that time by Dylan did a 48.3, and I would say, yeah, Michael did a 46, so there was another 2 seconds he's closed in. So 8 seconds to go with 11 odd minutes to go, or 7 odd minutes to go, whatever it is. Yeah, he could do it. I mean, there's no question, he can definitely do it. Yeah,
well, the way he's locking the inside left wheel again coming into chicane, he's definitely throwing everything he can at this car at the moment to just try to get that gap. It's 7.9 seconds now with 9 minutes, so he's got to get about a second a lap and then make a pass.
Yeah, so with that locking up, you definitely know he's pushing this car in, and these GT1s don't have ABS, so that locking up is just getting to that point where the tyre isn't getting, you know, this brake is grabbing it and locking up. It's just the side that's not loaded, but obviously doing that too, you're generating heat in that tyre, so that can be pretty gnarly trying to get into a corner if it's getting a little bit overheated.
Yeah, gnarly's an understatement in those cars, but looking up front at the moment, Josh Rogers is doing a great job here. He's got a gap of 9.6 seconds back to Marcelo Rivera, who, I tell you what, he's not shy at jumping the curbs in that DP, and you'll have to watch it because we know how easy it is to bend the floor pan of those cars.
Yeah, we can have a look at his front nose there. It's not looking healthy at all, so I'm not sure what, you know, how well that's made for the handling, but he's got a car in front of him here at the moment, which you know, GT3, so he's got to go through here, these chicanes, he'll get through here, so he's got the straightaway. He should round this GT3 car up, and so should Zach here, so we'll see how they go.
Yeah, well, Zach's full position here, and as we can see now, as we ride on the roof of Zach's car, he's going to dive in on his teammate. I think that was Aaron Osborne, but no doubt they would have been speaking on team speak. So the race is on here for second and third at the moment, folks, and 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, so Zach's pushing. He's a young fella here, and he, you know, he wants to get in there and show him that he can race against the bestest. Oh, more tyre smoke. Someone's locking those tyres up pretty bad there, Benny.
Yeah, it's the wheel and entry as he just about comes on and hits Zach. But looking at Zach's top speed down that straight with a straight car, he's topping out now at 290 kilometres an hour, where before it was about 283.
Yeah, so there was a big aero difference there, which makes a change. You know, you lose that 10 kilometres an hour, but obviously, you know, Josh had the same thing. So get that fixed, and we're seeing that it was as the McLaren comes down on him, which will slow him up. But that's the thing about multi-class, isn't it? You know, just catching the guys at the right time and getting them and saying, "Hey, look, I'm here. Let me through."
Yeah, and that would have been deja vu there for that car. I think that might have been Richard Brookfield, and we saw what happened to him last time, and it was Richard Brookfield again. So another close call there for the Next Level Racing McLaren, who nearly got tagged again by a DP.
Hey, oh no, sorry, I thought that was Rogers there, but it's not. That was Neil de Bruin, but Rogers isn't that far up the road. He's only 4 seconds up the road, so that gap is really closed down, hasn't it?
It's closed down a lot. 3.5 seconds is the gap last time by. It's up to 4.1 seconds now, and I think it's because he's in traffic. And we sort of see this, don't we, as these DPs get into traffic, that they sort of, you know, lose a bit, then gain a bit, and then the other guy loses or gains depending on when they get into traffic.
I think Rogers has got a bit of damage here at the moment, Bernie. If you go to his car, that rear left panel there is damaged, and you can see the bent wing plate there. So he's got a damaged car here. I'm wondering if he's struggling for top end pace at the moment.
Yeah, well, that gap is, I think you're right, that gap is dropping down. We'll catch as he goes across here down this back straight. We'll just compare times and see what he's topping out at as far as top end speed goes. Yeah, he had to back off there because that was Hopkins in the Corvette. practicing flashing the brake lights. So that's another new one for us tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It might have just been a moment, but yeah, that car's just a little bit damaged. But sometimes with Rogers, even if it's damaged, you can still wring the neck out of these things. And the pastime is he's got a little McLaren there in the road at the moment. Dispenses of that car quite quickly and early on, and gets into the racing line again.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Marcelo is actually carrying the same damage on his rear wing end plate as well. He's got identical damage, but Zach Hanlon, his car's perfectly clean, but I don't think he's going to get there. He's just running out of time.
Yeah, it's nearly finished, isn't it? So the guys are running out of time, so yeah, not going to get much done. I mean, it's been pretty close. We better see how close Michael Hammond is at the moment. 4 seconds, so quite hasn't done it, has he? I think Dylan's woke up to the fact that he had to push there a little bit and got his lap times done. Adams had this all on his own since a big accident early on, but looks like Richards actually got past Aaron there, Bernie. So something's happened there to Aaron, and Richards got through on him. So a little bit of a change here in Class C. Sorry.
Yeah, Class C. It's Adam Funslow leading. He's pretty much been running his own race since Richard Brookfield got tagged earlier by Nino Natal, and which put paid to that battle. But Adam Funslow first, Richard Brookfield recovered up to second, and then you're right, Aaron Osborne is sitting in third. So I don't think, I'm just having a look if anything happened to him, but I don't think that anything did.
Lap 28, he had like I did a 1:59. It's just a lot of time to lose.
Yeah, it is a lot. He might have, just trying to see, had an off track on lap 27, but there's nothing there that's signalling to me that he had something real bad go wrong, but he is carrying a bent rear wing on that car. So with 2 minutes to go, let's jump back to our race leader. Josh Rogers is leading the way, and he's got a gap of 4.7 seconds back to Marcelo, and in return Marcelo has got quite a large gap, 4.9 seconds back to Zach Hanlon. And I think now Zach's just going to settle for that third position, as he's now coming up to pass our Class C leader Adam Funslow.
Yeah, it just gets to a point where you can't keep going. Yeah, I can see why Aaron lost so much time there. He got caught up with a Corvette DP there, so a bit of untidy situation again, Bernie. So not much fun there for Aaron tonight there through the Lesmos. So a bit unlucky there, mate.
Yeah, but all's not lost. He's still he's up for a podium there for third for Carnet. So it's going to be a good night for Carnet. It looks like they've got third in Class A and B at the moment. I'm not sure if they're represented in, Class A and C. I don't think they're represented in Class B at the moment.
No one in Class B there tonight driving. So. With only 5, I think there was only 5. So yeah, no, they're doing a great job, and the team's been doing pretty well. Not that all that new anymore, Bernie. So they've been around for a little bit. Not as old as some of the teams here on iRacing, but is fairly young team, but still been around now for a couple of seasons and doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and speaking of old and doing a fantastic job, good old Uncle Tim here, he's running in 4th position, and for an old bugger that, I shouldn't say that, for an old bloke that is feeling a bit under the weather, he's definitely done a good job there for TD Racing tonight.
Yeah, for sure. You can see his lap times. I think 49s, mid 49s to start, and then hit the 150s throughout the race, and really just been settling on the 150s actually throughout this whole race. Bernie, he's dropped into the 49s again, just the high 49s. So been hovering around the 150s, 149s. So just a nice, constant, steady pace, and doing a great job out there. And it's for someone that's not feeling well, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, and as Josh Rogers crosses the line to take out round 5 of the Australian Sportscar Pro-Am. So Josh Rogers wins tonight. Second, Marcelo Rivera. Third is Zach Hanlon for TD Racing. Let's jump down to Dylan Shepherd now. He's got Michael Hammond's close right up behind him, so it's still on for this position. And I tell you what, Michael's driving off that car, and he's definitely pushing it, and it's going to be close.
Yeah, not quite, I don't think, Bernie. He's definitely driven well from that first lap's incident. He's driven the car back into second position, so what a great drive there by Michael tonight.
And he just didn't have the another couple of laps he could have had it, but Dylan Shepherd comes home Class B for TPR, followed by Michael Hammond. Oh, and Michael Hammond just ran right up the backside of him and absolutely destroyed their cars.
I think there was a little bit of fun there for sorry, Michael there. I suppose they're pretty good friends out there and just having a bit of fun there at the end.
Yeah. And Grant Hines comes home third in Class B in the speedcafe.com sponsored car. So great drive there by Grant tonight. He'll be very happy with that result. Jumping down to Class C, and what's happening here? Is he finished? I'm assuming Adam Funslow has finished the race because he's been doing donuts by the looks of it. So Adam Funslow home in first for Class C, and let's bring up the results. That's probably the best way. Yeah, I'm not sure about Class C because Adam Funslow takes out Class C, followed by Richard Brookfield, in second for Class C. Aaron Osborne, TD Racing, comes home in third, followed by Uncle Tim in fourth, and Trent Thomas in fifth position for Class C.
Yeah, good finish there from Trent, really, wasn't it? Started 28th and finished in 20th, so not a bad effort there. Move up 8 spots, and you're going, well, 8 spots doesn't sound a lot, but I'll tell you what, that's quite a few spots to make up in a GT3 class, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we just saw Adam Funslow doing donuts, and smoke actually comes off the tyres when they're doing donuts now, up until he blew the motor, and then smoke came out somewhere else. But we're just waiting now, folks, to see if we have anybody come up here for interviews. But at the moment, let's go through the full results so you can see where your favourite driver finished tonight. So tonight, Class A was taken out by Josh Rogers. Fantastic drive, start to finish, pretty much led that whole race. Marcelo Rivera for Evolution Racing Australia home in second, followed by Zach Hanlon, TD Racing in the CarNet auctions. Now look at that. I've just taken it off the screen because let's all be joyous with watching spinning tyres with smoke. It actually looks pretty cool now compared to what it used to look like in the past.
Yeah, it's definitely an improvement in it, so it's good. Like I said, they're definitely pushing forward and trying to make it a lot better for us, and they're doing a great job, and yeah, it's just fantastic seeing this sort of stuff coming towards, and yeah, a lot more improvements, and I'm sure there's more coming. Yeah,
it just looks so good. But also they can now do a Shane Van Gisbergen, park the car up against the fence, spin those tyres, and they should generate smoke, which will make it look a little less ridiculous, I guess. But let's get back to the results. Where were we? Blake Coppo home in 4th, Josh Burden 5th, 6th was Justin Strickland, followed by Simon Feigl in 7th, TJ Brown home in 8th, 9th, Greg Colgan, and then 10th was Neil De Bruin. 11th and 1st in Class B, Dylan Shepherd just held out Michael Hammond there for the win, and Grant Hines comes home in 3rd for Class B and 13th outright. Looking further down, Nino Natal came home 14th, and a good recovery there from that incident earlier on tonight. Adam Funslow, 1st in Class C, is home. Oh, Mike just dropped in and out. Maybe you'll come back. Adam Funslow wins Class C tonight in the McLaren, followed by Richard Brookfield in 2nd in the McLaren. Aaron Osborne home 3rd in the BMW. TD Racing was 3rd and 4th, with Uncle Tim coming home in 4th and 19th outright. Trent Thomas there didn't have quite a good race for himself tonight. Came home 4th in Class C. And then 5th was Jeff for a price. Alexander Sheridan comes home 22nd, 23rd, Matt Wilkins, 24th, Scott Goodman. I could hear someone spinning tyres out there. 25th, Adam Hyland, Matthew Zimmerman retired. In 26th, Brenton O'Brien also retired tonight. Ben Twidell retired, Jack Maloney retired, Brad Fenley also retired in 30th. 31st, David Jellings, and then Hayden Burns home in 32nd, 33rd, Aaron Farmer, Phil Gadd 34th, 35th was Scott Stevens, who did not start tonight's race. So that's the roundup, folks, and it looks like we've got a few people here for interviews. I think we'll bring up Mike first. He was the first in the green room, so he can come up and, well, actually, let's bring up Dylan. That'll really annoy Mike, won't it?
Yeah, we'll bring up Dylan and Hamlin. I mean, Mike's the organiser, so we can bring him up fast and see how he's thinking, how everything's going.
Oh, that's Michael Hammond. But if I bring up Dylan, did you want to start the interviews? Because I'm pretty much talked out, and I'm sure the viewers are sick of hearing my voice tonight.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, Dylan, congratulations on the win. Was close at the end. Mike did a great job to come up from his incident, and looks like it was a great run to the end for you.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting race. Could have probably been in the bag easily, but made a mistake in the pit stop and had to extremely fuel save in the last stint, so almost threw a Madison down at Montreal, but luckily I was able to save enough to be able to push in the last few laps.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It was Mike had a mishap there on lap 1, but having you two guys there at one stage, if that didn't happen, I'm sure it would have been a lot different story at the end there then.
Yeah, I think Michael actually had a lot more pace over me tonight. I didn't really get to do much practice, and I'm not in my own simulator tonight, so I was on a bit of the back foot with pace. So I think if he wasn't been an incident, he probably would have taken the race easily. So luckily for me, he got involved in an incident into that chicane, but unlucky to him.
Yeah, for sure. And how are you finding the new upgrades for iRacing for the racing at the moment? Seeing this is the first race since we haven't had the update, have we? So this is from week 13. So how are you finding it with all the new bits and bobs being put in place?
Yeah, it's probably one of the best builds I've seen since I've started, and I've been here for nearly 6 or 7 years, so definitely one of the bigger builds. I'm really excited with DX11. It's really fixed some of the problems my computer was facing. I'm able to run everything max. Flashing headlights, I saw that thread when that first started, and to see that in is actually pretty cool, and I think tonight it actually made a bit of a difference. Like, I saw some DPs flashing me, and I was able to get out of their way, and even some GT3s tonight, I was able to flash pretty quickly, and yeah, I think we had a lot less trouble tonight compared to other rounds, and I don't know if that was a factor from that or just the way the track is, but I think the new build's great. Loving it. Cool.
And with the rig situation, something that unfortunate, and you're borrowing one for now?
Yeah, so I said last round that I won't be able to make Monza due to going away and not being able to make it, but yeah, so I've travelled about 3 hours away for training for my job, but one of my teammates was, and just long time mate at the same time, has let me. I just drove from a different suburb in Sydney to come over to his and borrow his for the night. And yeah, I did the job. It's actually my old gear I sold to him a few months ago, so it was good to get back with my old gear. But yeah, definitely not up to the spec that I've got at the moment.
Yeah, I suppose like if viewers haven't done it before, it is quite funny, isn't it? You go from one setup and you've learnt this new setup, which is probably a little bit better than the old one, and you sort of go back to it, and yeah, it's familiar, but it's still just learning your brake pressures again, accelerating, gear shifting, all that sort of stuff. You don't realise it, but it makes a big difference going from one to another, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, so yeah, this being my old wheel, and I've had it for a few years as well, so I was definitely used to it. But yeah, so I've got a T500 now, Thrustmaster T500, and this is just a G27. But yeah, the difference between the two is actually quite large, and it was just the feeling through it. Mainly on the brakes was a bit hard to catch. I wasn't able to feel the car as well. But at the same time, he's actually upgraded the pedals, putting like a hydraulic load cell on the G27 pedals, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I think that was my biggest problem tonight, was just getting under brakes.
Yeah, cool. Well, at least you've been able to jump on a rig and come out and have a race, and obviously keep this championship alive, because you do only have 2 drop rounds, or 1 drop round I think it is. But you know, with 2 to go, we've got Twin Montigi next, night race, so that'll be an interesting one. And definitely with the flashing lights, you might be able to see that a little bit more happen more often throughout as well.
Yeah, that's it. I think the series is only going to move forward with all this new stuff, and especially when we see the new GT3 cars next season, will be pretty cool. Yeah, only 1 drop round, and I've already missed a round and had a bit of bad ones, but my last few have been pretty good, so I'm just trying to get back into the championship fight before Phillip Island, and hopefully I can be there to try and take the win.
Yeah, great. Well, mate, thanks for popping up. Congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, you want to put a shout out there to your sponsors and your teammates?
Yeah, for sure. Just a huge shout out to everyone at Fusion Sim Racing. Yeah, teammate Jeff for letting me borrow his rig and doing all my fuel numbers tonight after I made the mistake. TPR Engineering, GT Omega, Sim Instruments, and Daco. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cheers, Dylan, and have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Righto, thanks guys.
Okay, we'll bring up Mike Hammond, who came in second next, and I'll do this interview if you like. Give you a break, Adrian.
Yeah, no dramas, mate.
Hi Michael, welcome to RRTV's commentary box.
Hey guys.
Interesting race for you tonight, it must be said. It looked like it was back against the wall for most of that race after the contact with Craig Hopkins earlier on.
It happened before that though. Before the race even started, Dylan actually got into the right hand side front corner of me, and I got the meatball flag straight away. So that's why I was really slow off the start, and then yeah, got pretty much destroyed in the second chicane.
So how did... I know how you felt. You better not tell me how you felt on air, but basically, so at that point, I guess it was just head down and start hot lapping to see if you could recover.
Yeah, that's it. Jumped in the pits, grabbed a bit of extra fuel and took the quick repair for that first stop. And then, yeah, just tried to do quality times and make it through the pack as fast as possible. Got to my second stop, seeing that I already had passed Dylan, and there was about a couple of seconds gap between me and him when I had to do my second stop. And then I don't know what happened to him up the end, because I started closing into him really fast. I don't know if he was saving fuel or not.
Yeah, I don't know, but I tell you what, you closed in on him pretty fast at the end of the race. Was that payback for what happened at the start of the race, or was that just some friendly banter between you and Mr. Shepherd?
Oh, that's just some fun. Everyone's just doing burnouts on the side, so might as well do something.
Yeah, well, you nearly made me fall out of my seat here when you did that, because we had the cameras on you guys at that point, and yeah, but it was a great drive all the same. Coming from, pretty much last in the field, you did a good job in getting that car back up to the pointy end of your class.
Yeah, I really had some fun actually being on the back foot tonight, coming through the field like I did. Like, heaps of passing and stuff like that. Really enjoyable, to say the least of it, after having a pretty bad start.
Yeah, and I've just had some news here. Dylan was actually fuel saving, so that would explain why you're closing up on him so quickly. So before we let you go, Michael, do you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, just give a shout out to Laser Racing and Simulate It, and a big shout out for Steve Richards driving the M6 again in the Australian Grand Prix this weekend. See if he can turn it up even more and see what happens. He turned it up on the third race and it was coming through the pack alright, and then he got turned around unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I saw that, but I forgot it was the Grand Prix weekend. I'm excited now. Fantastic.
Oh, I'm excited. Tomorrow telecast starts on Fox Sports.
Awesome. I can't wait. I might have to... No, I can't say I'm going to be sick in case my boss is listening.
Righto, boys.
All right, thanks,
have
Mike.
a good night, and
Yeah,
thanks
mate.
for the telecast.
Yeah, no worries. I'll catch you on the other side of the Grand Prix.
No problems. See ya.
Okay, we're getting quite a bit of a queue down there, but we'll bring up our race winner, Josh Rogers, and I'll let you interview him, Adrian.
Okay. Hey Josh, welcome to the RRTV commentary booth. Congratulations on your win, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Somewhat of a tough race from the beginning. Had a good battle with Zach there. It was a little bit unfortunate into turn one when you lock both front wheels and kind of can't get the thing turning. I think he had a little bit of the same problem as well. But yeah, all in all, I was pretty pleased with the result. Really, it was a little bit scary towards the end though. I'm not sure if he's caught it, but I think Neil and maybe Aaron Osborne got together at the second Lesmo, and it was a bit sketchy trying to get around that.
Yeah, well, there was a bit of action going on throughout the whole race. There was guys coming off here, left, right, and centre. It was quite amazing. But I can tell you what, you were losing a lot of top speed, especially in that first lap incident because of the damage on the car. It really is starting to affect these cars a lot more now, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't even realise they had straight line damage. But yeah, no, in a car like this, the aero is very, very important, and just the slightest of damage can make the biggest differences, and it seems like that's what happened.
Yeah, we did see there was a little bit of damage on your rear wing there as we were getting near the end of the race. So you had some little bit of a brush of the wall at some stage, or was that because of that collision that you near missed, or you thought you near missed, but it may have got the back of the car?
Yeah, that's quite possibly. Maybe as I was going around the back of Aaron, the rear wing might have caught on it or something. I didn't get any contact, but net code's always a thing, so yeah, I didn't even realise I had any damage.
Yeah, it could have been just a net code thing. You know what iRacing's like, sometimes you'll see it and some guys won't, but yeah, it's just interesting. We were watching it, any sort of damage or aero damage that these cars are getting now. There was a big difference. I think we were following one car. I think it was Zach there at one stage. He was doing about 280 down the front straight, and after he did his pit stop and got his repairs done, he actually gained 10 k's an hour down the straightaway. So a little bit of damage, I suppose, with those big bollards. They don't help these cars either. They're quite large, and you're going to damage cars quite easily, aren't you?
Yeah, they won't help any car, especially when you drill them at probably 100 kilometers an hour and can't really do much but jump them. But yeah, no, they don't do the best things, especially in Ascari. I know you can rupture fuel tanks if you hit the last one, so that's definitely something that you do have to be very wary of.
Yeah, for sure. And how are you finding the C7 since the new build and all the extra little bits and pieces, and how are you finding the just generally in cars how it's all working for you at the moment with the new build?
It feels really good, nice and stable. I'm not sure if they've changed it or not. They probably have, but it feels like you can catch slides really good in it. Nice and easy to do. So then again, when you go to catch a slide, sometimes you can get in a bit of a tank slapper, and that's not the best of situations. So, but no, the car, yeah, feels really nice and stable. Turn in really good mid corner, so there's nothing you can really complain about the car. It's a kind of a masterpiece, I guess you could say.
Yeah, good. Next fortnight we're racing at Twim and Tiggy. You'll be at that one. I know you do have other commitments on Wednesday nights, but will you be making that one?
Yeah, not running OSR this season, so we'll be running Asper for the rest of this season. Try and claw back whatever I can possibly do. Hopefully we can do something. We're not sure, but we'll just try and bring it home as good as we can, and we'll be pleased with whatever we can do.
Yeah, well, you've definitely put the task on yourself, haven't you? Running a couple of the OSRs, and I think you've got 2 drop rounds already, so you've got to make the best of these next few races. So basically you're going to go out there and try and win the next 2 and see where the championship leads you, which is definitely going to be interesting for us and the viewers out there to follow you and see if you can keep this number 1 on your car, because we know you were the champion last season, and you said you'll come back and have a go and see if you can do it, and you're doing a fantastic job at the moment, even with those 2 drop rounds.
Yeah, thanks. Unfortunately, I've used that 1 drop round, and I've missed another round, so we're actually a round behind in points, which isn't great. And considering after a few celebratory donuts at the Road America, I scored myself a points penalty. So not going too well from that. But like you said, I'll try my best, and we'll see what we can bring home.
Yeah, good. All right, mate. Well, we're going to let you go, but before we do, you want to put a shout out there to your sponsors and your teammates?
Just thanks to TTL for their huge support. It's always ongoing and never ending, really. Jake Maloney for doing the fuel numbers tonight last minute was really nice of him to do that, and you guys for putting on the broadcast, obviously. Matt from LMTI for the series. It's a wonderful series, and it's really good to see the numbers boosting like they are, so hopefully it can keep on that upward stroke and turn into the series that it really deserves to be.
Yeah, cheers for that, mate, and have a good evening, and once again, congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
Okay, next up we'll bring Zach Hanlon up and have a bit of a chat with him, and I'll take this interview, and I might bring you in at the end since he's like a teammate to you.
Geez, thanks.
Hey Zach, welcome to RRTV's Combox. Looked like you had a pretty exciting race there. Do you want to tell the viewers about how you went tonight? Any dramas?
Yeah, it was a good race to start off with. I started 4th, managed to get up to 2nd by the first corner, which was very nice. Managed to get into 1st, just I think in the 3rd lap after chasing Josh for a couple of laps. And then things kind of went south. Josh got me, we actually came side by side into the first corner, and he locked up his front tyres, and I saw that he wasn't going to make the corner, so we both bailed across the ripple strip there, the little ripple strip, and he actually came out ahead of me, because I got when I went to put the power down, I had one of the tyres on the grass, which really made the car go quite ape and spin hard left, so I managed to save that, but he managed to stay ahead of me. And then I think is it Lesmo 2, which is the right-hand fast kink. I was coming out of there on the preceding lap, and I just got a bad bump coming out of there. I got some massive oversteer, and just managed to hold on to the car. It was really touch and go, but I think I got a bit of front splitter damage from going over the curbs with Josh, and that caused me to lose about 0.6 of a second per lap for the first stint. I'd say 0.6 at least, and then I got in the pits, did the fast repair, managed to make up a couple of seconds on Marcelo Riviera, who got past me when I made that mistake, and kind of just dragged along behind him for as long as I could. I had to save a bit of fuel because I was really pushing it to the limit in terms of fuel strategy, but unfortunately traffic just, every time I got a run on Marcelo, traffic just managed to get in the way, which is, just what multi-class racing is. There's nothing you can do about that. And in the end, I kind of tagged the inside of Lesmo 1 and just lost about 3 seconds with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, and I kind of just gave up from then and just cruised back. I had about a 20-second gap back to fourth from my position in third. So yeah, just finished it off. But it was a pretty fun race for the first 20 minutes. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Excuse me, it was definitely looks like you were having a great time out there. We noticed you were one of the only drivers out there flashing the headlights as you came up on the slower cars. Did that make a lot of difference to letting those guys know?
Look, I feel like it did, but whether or not it realistically helped. If you've ever driven in iRacing before, and you're being followed by a car that's flashing their lights, you'll know that you kind of can't really see anything until the car behind, or if the car behind is about 1.5 seconds further back, you can't really see the flashing lights. So it's only once you get really close to them you can see. But it's just a good thing to let people know that you're in a hurry, and and basically my interpretation of the flashing lights are I'm in a hurry and I'm willing to do anything to get past you at the next corner, so you make the decision as to whether or not we're going to be slow or whether we're going to be fast. So I think it did help in some situations, and in other situations people just don't care and they just do their own thing. But I think once people get used to it and a little more accustomed to it, I think it'll really help.
Yeah, and I think it's going to definitely help next round, because next round's a night race at Twin Ring Motegi, and because these cars have white headlights like the other cars around them, it's probably going to be good to flash your headlights around there.
Yeah, it also makes much more of a difference in the dark, because the lights actually go, unlike real, in the WEC when they have the flashing lights, they often have, in the real cars, they have lights that flicker on and off, so you always have one light that is on. But in this, the lights actually flicker off completely, so you actually are left with like a strobe effect of total darkness, alternating between the flashing lights. So it makes it's a much more visual difference, especially when you're sitting in a car, when a car's coming up behind you and you can see the shadows behind you flashing. It's probably a little more intimidating and a little more useful. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that round at Motegi, because it's a track that I love, and also being able to spam those flashy buttons behind people will be pretty fun as well.
Yeah, and one thing I'm really excited for later on in the year is Le Mans. I think there'll be a 24-hour there, and you'll really feel with it flashing your headlights on that track.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, wouldn't it be great as well if by then we could have the day to night transition? But I think iRacing have said that they want to do that. It's probably not going to be something that happens by the time we get to Le Mans, because I think that's midway through season 3 or something like that. I think it's September. So hopefully they can get something out by then. But yeah, I mean, using the flashing lights anywhere, I think is going to be really good.
Oh, definitely. And before we let you go, Zach, I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Jarvis here, and we'll see if he's got a quizzical question or two for you.
Hey, Zach. Welcome to the booth. Congratulations on third. Just like you said, a bit of hard luck with multi-class racing. Just not being able to get through the traffic as well as you needed to, but which is a bit of shame. But we did notice that you had a little bit of down speed with that aero, like when you've hit those ripple strips there. you actually lost speed compared to what you did after you pit stopped. I think you gained 10 k's an hour once you got that car repaired.
Yeah, well, look, the DP is especially touchy. I did quite a bit of practice today, and even just running at the second chicane, even running over the bumps there at even 60 or 70 kilometers an hour. These cars are so stiff; they kind of launch off their, the front launches and the back just follows, and they come down really hard. So they do get damaged by curbs quite easily. They can actually take side impacts really, really well, but because it's a flat bottom car, if you stick it over a ripple strip or if you hit something incorrectly underneath the car, it can damage it, and it can damage it quite detrimentally as well.
Yeah, cool. I think we've covered off on that. It's one of those cars in it, similar to the HVD. A lot of those bumps and bollards really affect these cars a great amount, don't they?
Yeah, look, I haven't driven the HPD for a long time, but I mean, I have seen it before. I have experienced it. You just ever so slightly, even just nudge a car, and all of a sudden you've literally lost 30 or 40 kilometers an hour top end. So it's but that's what racing is. You push hard. Sometimes you make a little mistake, and that's the price that you pay for it. So sometimes you can push and be careful, but if you want to push and win, sometimes you have to take a little bit of extra risk, and sometimes that risk doesn't always pay off.
Yeah, risk versus reward, as a great commentator always says on V8 supercars. So,
that's absolutely right.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, before we let you go, better put a shout out there to the sponsors, seeing the blast of their name on the car there. So give them a shout out and your teammates, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Really like to thank Carnet Auctions. You can go to carnet.com.au if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle. They have some fantastic deals. Also like to thank GLW Freight and all the boys down at TD Racing. I know we had Tim Ballinger and Aaron Osborne in the GT3 class today, and I believe they both did relatively well. I think Aaron might have even come second. So yeah, really, really good result for the team, and I think that race actually might put me at the top of the championship tables now. So if that's all gone to plan, then we're all looking very good for the future. So thank you very much.
Sorry, I was having a sleep. Okay, let's bring up Josh Burton, and we'll have a chat with Josh. Hi Josh, welcome to RRTV Combox, and looks like we've got you down here fourth outright tonight, so can you tell the viewers a bit about your race?
Yeah, we didn't quite have the pace tonight. I only got back from Melbourne this afternoon, so I hadn't actually done a single lap since the new update was released, so I wasn't expecting to kind of go out there and win, but I thought I may have had a bit more pace than what I did, but that's alright. I was just trying to stick in the draft the first few laps, but had cars, dive bombing every second corner, so it pretty much made it impossible. So I just tried to stay up the front of the pack of where I was, and I think where I ended up was probably about par of where my pace was.
Yeah, so what were you running DX11 tonight, or still running DX9?
Yeah, running DX11 tonight. It's definitely a good upgrade. I'm keen to see how it pans out when they get more things into it, like day-night transitions and that sort of stuff, because it's definitely going to make endurance racing a lot more exciting and realistic. So it's a good start for iRacing to bring this in. So we'll just have to wait. I'm not sure how long day-night transitions is, but it's definitely going in the right direction.
Yeah, we're just talking about that with our last interview, and we're not sure when they'll bring it in. I know they're working on it, but they'll probably bed in DX11 first and get all that sorted, and then look at that down the track, but it'll definitely make a big difference to enduros, as you just said. So as far as not getting much practice in and everything, were you pretty happy with the way you went tonight?
Yeah, Monza's definitely not one of my strong tracks, so yeah, the combination of not having even turned on the computer in a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it was, definitely didn't help. So I think, yeah, 5th place is, or 4th, wherever I finished, was par. I qualified around there as well, so I was just happy to kind of stay there. There was a couple of risky moves from other guys that didn't quite pay off for them, so I had a bit of damage. The car tried to pass me at, I forget the name of the corner, the last chicane, and we had a bit of side-by-side contact and my car had a bit of damage, so I just tried to, wasn't too bad, but I just got it to the pit stop and I lost a bit of time, so I wouldn't have made up another position because of all that time I lost, but yeah, I was pretty happy with 5th place considering everything.
Yeah, no, it was a good drive. And before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, for sure. GT Amiga, Daco, Powerbond, Neelex, Sim Instruments, and GTI. So yeah, cheers for doing the broadcast also.
Yeah, no worries. It was another great race to call. Adrian and I both enjoyed it thoroughly. So anyway, Josh, thanks for popping in. We better let you go because we've got a couple more interviews to do before we call it quits tonight.
Yeah, it's easy. Cheers, cheers for the broadcast, like I said.
Okay, Adrian, I'm going to have another rest, so I'll bring Trent up. Do you want to have a chat with him? Then we'll bring up Matt Zimmerman to finish off the broadcast.
Yeah, sounds good, Ben. Hey Trent, welcome to the commentary booth. I believe you finished 4th tonight in class, so it was a good effort for you tonight.
Cheers, Adrian. Yeah, I don't know where I finished, to be honest. Had a pretty good battle at the beginning of the race with Tim Ballinger. I don't know whether he had a bit of damage or anything from an early incident, but yeah, we were swapping positions, running pretty close together for a while, and he pitted. And then I just made a silly mistake myself, spun it at the second chicane right in front of the leaders, so I pretty much had to let all them by. I lost about 20 seconds, so the rest of the race was a bit lonely, but had a good time trying to chase down Jeffrey Price there at the end. Slowly closing down, and he sort of gave me some position. Would have been good to fight him all the way to the end, but yeah, he sort of moved over, let me by, and then cruised home to my finishing position that I got.
Yeah, geez, went a bit crazy there. I won't say what it sounded like, but yeah, no, you did a great job there, man. Pushing away. How are you finding the new upgrades from week 13? Because we know we haven't had the patch through as per normal on a Tuesday, starting out the new series. I think that comes in tomorrow. But how are you finding it at the moment?
Well, I haven't actually driven this car since the last round at Spa, so 2 weeks ago, so it's the first time I've driven it. Sounds are different. The car probably felt a little bit grippier, I guess, I found. When myself, I had to change my tyre pressures and stuff, because that's a little bit different after the update, but yeah, I found the car really good to drive. Really enjoying DirectX 11 as well. Yeah, the added bits and pieces that adds in graphically is really quite good too.
Yeah, I've noticed it's a lot better, isn't it? And even the car, the BMW, I jumped in it the first time today myself. Yeah, it's definitely sharper, and it sounds a lot sharper, and you can hear that gearbox whine that it's got in it. You can hear the gears grinding away, so definitely a lot more sounds have come into that BMW this series.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I like it or not. It sort of sounds a bit more smoother and refined, I guess. I really like the rough noise that it sort of had previously, but either way, it's good that iRacing are continuing to improve these cars and work on them. Otherwise, it'd be pretty boring if they just gave us a car and that's the way it stayed forever. So it's good on them guys to keep working on these things. But overall, the car, I found it's probably even a little easier to drive than it has been, at least for me anyway.
Yeah, cool. Might get on to a little bit away from the race, because we know that you've had a fairly quiet race and you brought the car home and you did a few burnouts there at the end as well, having a bit of fun with it. Is it this Thursday you start the new FRAC series?
Yes, tomorrow night was round 1, so we're kicking off at Spa on the classic pits layout. We've actually got 147 registered entrants into the series so far, so it's absolutely huge. Not sure if all 147 people are going to show up, but that's how many people are currently registered for the series. So there'll be a few splits come tomorrow night. There's only 37 pit stalls on the classic layout, so yeah, that's something that's really looking forward to that kicking off. Obviously, Smack finished last season. And so FRAC with the new Formula Renault will be kicking off tomorrow night.
Yeah, great. And also, I believe yourself and Scott started off a little chat show recently as well.
I think it's iRace ANZ chat show, I think it's called. We kicked that off last week, I think was the first episode. Keep your eyes and ears out every fortnight on a Friday. We'll try and be bringing out a new episode every 2 weeks, just to try and keep people up to date. Some people might not get to browse the forums or get to watch some of these incredible broadcasts that are put on. So it gives them a chance to sort of just sit back and listen to what's been going on iRacing and keep themselves up to date where they can.
Yeah, that's a good initiative, and I suppose that's a brilliant thing about this Australian community, and that we definitely want to push forward and try and get this brilliant e-sport of ours going forward. And iRacing with this build, probably the best build they've brought out so far, is definitely doing a lot for whetting our appetites for more.
Yeah, that's right, and particularly in the ANZ community, obviously that's where we're based, but it's really gone from strength to strength in the last probably 12 to 18 months. There's a lot of fantastic series that are popping up, and it's good to with the iRace ANZ chat show to try and bring those to light, try and make mention of them so that people are aware of them, because there is really a lot of great series. I know Bernie with RRTV is broadcasting a lot of them, people like Bernie also bringing those series to the larger public, I guess you could say, with his broadcasts as well. So the ANZ community in general, I think pretty tight-knit bunch. Used to be sort of pretty much the V8 was pretty much that's all that anyone ever raced in this region, but we've got sports cars, open wheelers. That's all really picking up and taking off.
Yeah, certainly is, and it's good to see. But I suppose we can go back to the race where you did quite well, and the car came home clean, so you didn't really have too many issues throughout the race. The car, no issues whatsoever with anyone else. It was fairly clean.
Yeah, I didn't have any incidents. I think there was one of the C7s made a pass on me into the second chicane and moved into the braking zone after they made the pass straight in front of me, and that sort of put me off a bit, and I locked them up, hit the grass and sort of had to skate across the chicane. We made some contact through there, so I'm not sure whether some of these C7s realise that the GT3s can outbrake them, so if they make the pass they need to sort of stay offline. Otherwise, it really puts off the GT3 cars in the braking zone.
Yeah, once again, that's sort of rearing its head in it. I think with the C7 and the GT1 class cars, both don't have ABS on the vehicles yet. The GT3s have got all the aids, got the ABS and the traction control. So it's a big difference on how much braking that you can do in those cars, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It actually surprised me. I've driven the HPD in the AEC championship, and yeah, it's actually surprising that the GT3s can pretty much outbrake the HPDs in the quality. The only thing the HPD's got is it's got higher speed when it gets to the braking zone, and it's the only thing that really can help you outbrake a GT3 car. But yeah, these GT3 cars, they're phenomenal on the brakes. They really, really do brake really late.
Yeah, great. Well, I suppose we better keep this going. We've got Matt down there, and we've got to wrap this up. It's getting a bit late, bit old. I mean, we haven't broadcast all week, so we're a bit rusty at the moment. So we want to go to bed early. We're not used to these late nights. But Trent, we'll get to the shout out for your sponsors and your teammates, and once again, did a fantastic job to bring it home. I think it was 5th in class, so fantastic night for you.
Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, big shout out to Monster Design, has been with us for a while. Quickbeds.com. We're in their grassroots program. Use code 1564, booking accommodation in Australia and New Zealand, and that helps us keep Series Frac going, helps pay for costs there. We've got Stell's Styles. They do Australian rustic themed gifts and homewares. And a shout out to Matty Wilkins, who was in the race with me tonight. I think he came home 8th in class, who did a really good job. So shout out to him, and also to yourself and Bernie for putting on the broadcast tonight.
Yeah, cheers, mate, and have a good night.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
Okay, our last interview, I'll bring up Matt Zimmerman, and we'll have a quick chat with him. Hi, Matt. Welcome to RRTV's commentary box. Firstly, from a driver's perspective, it probably wasn't your night tonight. Is that how you'd sum that up?
Yeah. At the end, that's how it was for sure. Yeah. So obviously 8 laps down there, the last running car. But about 20 minutes earlier, it was a completely different story. So it was. I probably had of any race on the calendar this season, I think I had the most fun and the most battle. So battling a bit there with my teammates Greg and Neil, and then TJ Brown near the end there before having my computer crash. So and rather catastrophically too. I rebooted and couldn't even reboot the thing. So I actually pulled the cover off the thing and tinkered around with it for a bit and managed to get it started again. So it was a bit like fiddling around with the car in the end. So it took probably about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, I rejoined the lobby and just did the last 3 or 4 laps. So had a lot of fun, but it's just disappointing when that sort of thing happens and you don't get a result that sort of represents how my pace and race went.
Yeah, I guess pulling the cover off your PC, I'm sort of having flashbacks to watching Bathurst, when the cars just die and they're under there looking at all the fuses and trying to reset everything. So that's probably what that felt like, as you said. But from an organiser's point of view, you'd have to be happy with the turnout tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It keeps ticking on nicely with the attendance. Yeah, like I said before, getting over 30 is a good thing per round, and if we're getting about the 10 in each class, then that makes for some really good racing. So a little bit light on GD1 tonight, but hey, I'm sure those guys still had a good time, and happy with it. We had a few new guys join, and it's good to have new people on board, and but we also had a few incidents tonight from what I hear as well, and you've probably seen a few of them yourself, and so we've got to keep on top of that sort of things.
Yeah, there's probably a few incidents there we caught on camera that you'll probably want to review during the week, but all in all, it was a pretty good race, and I tell you what, Monza looks great in this late afternoon setting.
Yeah, definitely this new since this update with the different lighting in the morning and the afternoon, it's great, and I personally think the afternoon setting is the best looking, and so that's what we chose it for this one, and we'll probably do that for the remainder of the day rounds anyway. So I think it's just the 2 rounds at the Phillip Island. So Phillip Island will be another afternoon one, and I think next round we've got is Motegi, which is a night race.
Yeah, it is. That's in 2 weeks' time, I believe. But I'm just going to pass you over to Adrian and see if he's got any more questions for you, and then we'll wrap up the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks, Benny. Yeah, Matt, hard luck about the night with the computer crash. Never good that happening to anyone while you're racing. But yeah, it sounds like you've got a little bit of work to do this week by the little cons going on just after the race there.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've seen that. We've seen that before at a couple of rounds, and the the reports haven't come through. So look, if I encourage people, if they are upset about what's happened on track, then send the report through, and it will be investigated, and a penalty will be applied where necessary. So I mean, we see these incidents, but not always the people following up with the reports, because I don't have time to go through everyone's race for an hour and see everything that went wrong. So yeah, and I rely on those reports. Apart from lap 1, where everyone's bunched up, I will have a good look at that and see if anything's happened on lap 1. But yeah.
Yeah, mate. Trust me, I know how you feel with trying to go through incidences and checking replays, because at one stage when I was on the PS3 running a series through there, going through replays was not my idea of fun for probably 8 to 10 cars, because that's all we had at the time, and it's no fun doing that. So you just tell the guys to, hey, look, if you have any problems, just let me know, and I'll go and have a look at it that way. If I don't hear anything, well, we're just going to leave it, and if you want to complain, well, you should let me know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly right. And yeah, the good old days of console. I've come from the same sort of background. I used to run a series on Forza Motorsport 4, and yeah, again, I think on average it was 6 or 8 cars per round, but I think our best round was like 14 cars. But when you come to iRacing, you've got usually double that. So, but it's the same thing. You don't want to have to be expected to go through everyone's race and have a look what went wrong.
No, that's it. I mean, it's not a job that everyone likes doing. Unfortunately, it does need to be done at some point. But obviously, the help that you need is that protest system, because the simple fact is that no one's there watching. You don't have a live race control either, so you don't have that luxury. And to be able to have these protests put in, which is part of your rules and regs, and everyone knows that. So if they've had an issue, put a protest in and get it reviewed. And it just helps for Matt to sort out and go back to these guys and say, hey, look, this is what went wrong. This is the way I saw it, and here's your penalty. If we move on, and hopefully the guys are understanding.
Yeah, that's it. Of course, there's never anything personal with these sort of things, and it helps improve. Or in theory, it helps improve the quality of the driving in the series, and I mean, which has been of a high standard, I think, this year, and I think the incident limit helps that as well. But yeah, no, certainly reporting the incidents, go a long way to making things fair.
Yeah, so thinking about the series, you've got 2 more rounds to go. I know I'm probably delving in maybe a little bit early, but what's the plans for moving forward? I did mention earlier on in the broadcast, I think the car select that you've got at the moment is pretty decent. Having the C7s, the GT1s, and the GT3s, I think that's a good mix of cars. There's not a lot between them for pace, and sometimes we'll see those GT1s up there mixing it with the C7s at the moment, but it generally seems like a good mix at the moment.
Yeah, I don't. At this stage, I'm not looking to change too much with the series. I think all these cars have very similar cornering speed, which is a big help. It means that you generally need to use the power down the straight and then under brakes maybe to get around cars in other classes, which works a bit better than perhaps maybe the HPDs that sort of can appear from nowhere and then have some really stunning closing speeds, and which is great, but it can also cause some issues. So yeah, not a lot I'm looking to change. There might be a few little rule tweaks with regards to people running in DP, just to make sure that we separate the DPs from the GT1s. Otherwise that might involve adding a little bit more weight to the GT1s. but as we've seen on some tracks, that extra little bit of weight can help keep the vehicle a bit more planted and actually doesn't have an impact on lap time as you might think. Certain tracks it certainly will, like I think Monza's probably the one where they've been most separated, DP and GT1. But yeah, the only thing that in terms of different cars will be obviously in GT3 now we've got a couple of new exciting cars there available to us, and we'll probably look to take a vote on which two would be included for next season. I would predict that would be the Audi and the Mercedes being new. But you know, the BMW does have a bit of a following, as does the McLaren, at least in this season. I think historically McLaren gets a little bit neglected. It can be a bit hard to drive compared to the BMW, but certainly here it's been popular. So we'll take a vote and see what people like in the way of GT3.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the problem with multi-class and trying to organise something at the moment, because you only have a limit of 5 cars. It doesn't matter whether you can fit them in their separate classes. You still only can select 5. So with the Corvettes, they are 1. GT1s, you've got the 2 cars, and then it only leaves you 2 more spots. So it does make it hard to try and fit all the GT3s in, that's for sure.
That's right. I mean, yeah. If anything, we could possibly drop the Corvette in GT1. I mean, Craig Hopkins there is probably going to cringe when I say that, because he loves the thing and he's been loyal to that car. Yeah. I mean, that would be handy too if we did have only 1 car in each class, because it would mean we'd be able to separate each class at the start, which we can't do at the moment. So we get a few of the DPs intertwined with the GT1s at the start there.
Yeah, I suppose that's the biggest thing. I suppose trying to run a multi-class is trying to fit it in and be restricted. We'll put it in the politest term at the moment with iRacing, is that you can't get the whole field of GT3s in if you're running GT3s, and then that would solve an issue of voting. You could say, well, there's the GT3s, they're in there, that's done. So, but these are the parameters that you work with, and putting a vote to the people that are racing it is definitely a good idea, and the guys can have a say on what they want, and it's worked in the past. So just like this round and the previous round, you keep in the cars that were elected for the start of the series, and that's a good initiative for everyone.
Yeah, there's a bit of conjecture there with that one. I think a lot of half the people were excited to try the new ones, but then a few people were very adamant they wanted to stick with the existing ones, and it was kind of 50-50. So I think in that sort of situation we have to leave things as they are. If there's a bit of a swing in what people are preferring, then if 3/4 to 100% of the vote was for the new cars, and that would have pushed it over the line, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think in 2 weeks' time we're doing Twin Montigi, so that'd be interesting with the new flashing lights. We'll be able to see the guys playing around with those light systems now.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't actually assigned a button for that. Yeah, I've run out of buttons on my rig. I've got to assign or lose one of the other ones I've got, and potentially. But yeah, I had TJ Brown flashing his lights on me pretty frantically at this round here. So yeah, I think on the night it will look extra special.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm going to hand you back to Bernie to finish this up, but good to see, and the series is going great, mate. Like I said, there's not much that you can improve on as such. I think the selection of cars are great. Like we said, you can't really do too much with how many you have in there. That's restricted on you, but you're doing a great job, and the series is great. Maybe you might look at in the future change it a little bit around. Maybe a couple of sprint rounds, do a couple of two races, 2 sprint rounds or something like that. I know it's been done before, but might throw a little bit of interesting fact in there, and maybe cutting the fuel load even more on that, so they still have to do a fuel stop as well. That might make it a little bit interesting as well. But anyway, there's a couple of little ideas for you for next season.
Cheers. Cool.
Yeah, before we let you go, Matt, did you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, as usual, we got pingpongathon.com on the side of the car. Yeah, it's a charity we support. So, that's on there to show a bit of support. Seeing we don't really, we're not in this to make money or don't really need money so much for this hobby once you're set up. So we like to put a charity on the side of the car. So they're on there as usual. So. Yeah, cheers and thanks for your ongoing efforts, guys, in broadcasting the series, and it's fantastic.
No worries. Well, thanks for popping in, and we'll see you in a fortnight, Matt. So, Adrian, before we go, did you want to, in a paragraph, sum up your experience of tonight's race? What you saw?
What I saw, good racing, good to watch racing with the new update. Just seeing the classes, I think this series has probably well got it bang on. I think, like I said earlier, probably mix it up a little bit next season. Probably throw a couple of sprint rounds in there, and even give them a fuel stop as well. That might make it interesting, or something like that. Or I don't know, just have a mix it up a little bit, make the guys have to work for it. But generally, the racing tonight, fantastic. Few little probably ambitious moves. Hopefully guys, if they didn't like it, might put a protest in, but overall though the racing was great, and it, once again exciting as normal.
Yeah, it definitely was exciting, and it looked like, from my perspective, what I saw as far as incidents, it looked like the DP boys were in the thick of it, a few of them with some dubious moves there, but some of these guys have just started multi-class racing, so I've got to cut them a bit of slack. But folks, we're just about at the end of our broadcast. If you like your open wheeler racing, well, join us again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. when we're proud to broadcast the Formula Renault Australian Championship. That'll be coming to you live at 9 p.m. And then, of course, on Sunday evening, I'm very excited for this, is the SEK Queensland GT3 Championship is back, and RRTV will also be bringing that to you live. The way that's going to run is they're going to have two rounds with 250 kilometres, and then they're going to have a 6 hour every third round, and it's going to be fantastic. So tune in if you like your GT3 action this Sunday night. That's if you're not too worn out from watching the Australian Grand Prix in the real world. But anyway, folks, it's time for us to say goodnight. It's very late, and as you could probably tell, we're quite tired. So on behalf of Adrian Jarvis, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. And I'm Bernie Weemers, and I hope you have a good evening. Good night.